Hey guys, my name is n8n, and today we'll be going through the first part of this automation workflow where we'll be passing data from Airtable, right? Airtable into Buku, which is an accounting software system, by using n8n, which is a low-code automation platform where we'll be building this whole workflow. In this video, we'll also be covering how we can get the exchange rate through the Open Rate Exchange API and apply it to these the payments, right? So in this case, this is a payment in British pounds, and we are able to get the actual exchange rate. So here's the workflow that I've created beforehand. It's just a simple flow chart, right? It looks simple, but it can get complex, as you can see here. There's a lot of other points to consider, right? So it'll start off from a trigger from Airtable, where maybe a customer fills up a form, and through the form you'll populate that table, which is this table, right? We have a form where the customer fills up and they fill up what payment method did they use, when did they pay, the amount that they paid, what currency are they, where are they from especially, and also the proof of payment, right? Which is required here as well. So after that, we'll be moving on to the next step, which is creating an invoice. So if the customer exists as well, you also check if they have an invoice which exists inside the accounting software already. If there's no invoice, you then create a new invoice as well using whatever product or item that they paid for, right? Including the tax code, right? Tax code ID is the SST, right? Whether or not SST is applicable to them, And through that, we'll be creating a payment. We'll then add in the payment fees, the payment method based on their payment method, etc. And lastly, attach proof of payments. And that is all. Rather simple. It looks rather simple, but it can get complex, as you can see here, right? And I'll be using the staging server in this sense because, there's sensitive information in the production server. However, in the staging server, we are not able to upload payment as the URL that Buku uses is faulty. So firstly, we'll be starting off with a webhook from above, right? Just a simple webhook. Just a simple webhook where we want to get the response immediately whenever we tick this, right? We'll be following this field where we check this, we want to capture that info straight away, right? From then on, we hit towards Airtable, right? In this case, we have the data already. If you do not, try to populate one, right? Get some demo data. Just have their name, email, phone number, their whatever item that they bought, a random number as an amount, right? Just test data, right? Then hit on to automations. You will need to be in the, team plan. So the free account will not be able to run a script. But so we just set this up, right? I'll just create a new one, new automation, right? So the trigger is when record matches the condition. In this case, in this table, which is table 1, we add the condition when completed all payment is ticked, it's checked, right? Then after that, we choose run script, which is here, run script. So this is a script that I have prepared beforehand, right? So this script essentially gets the data from Airtable, right? All of this data from here. Let me just open it up. So it essentially gets the data from there, and all this data, the phone, customer email, name, everything, and it'll pass it to the webhook, which is over here, where it will be catching the data. So I'll just briefly go through each line, right? So this essentially just puts this all into one data, so it can be sent over through this webhook URL, right? So this webhook URL, you have to take from this URL, right? This URL, copy it, and then you have to paste it in here, right? This URL. You can also put it as an input, which I'll show later, but I put it here in case the input data doesn't work, right? You can put it as an input variable here, or you can take it straight away from here, right? It's like a fail-safe for me because I had issues with this earlier on, right? Then this is just to build the query parameters for webhooks, right? For it to read properly, right? You can actually stop here already, but after this, it's just for me to test and see if it's working, if this script is working or not, right? So yeah, so after you've set up the script, you have to add input variables, right? And to add input variables, you have to click here, add input variable, copy this, paste, and select customer name, for example, right? You have to set it up for each of the variables that you'll be pulling. So in this case, it'll be all of this, email, phone number. Yeah, so just do it, and yeah. Right, so after you're done with all of it, right, you can test your data by clicking here, listen for test event first, and make sure that the link is being sent. Make sure the link is set here, right? You can click the link and put it here. And just click test. Oh, be sure to tick your data, because I forgot to tick it earlier. Yeah, but it will then show up here, and most importantly, you can see the data here as well inside of n8n, right? You can see the customer name, the email, right? The phone number, your product, etc. Those sort of things. Right, so you can see that the test is successful. And as I mentioned earlier, I had some of these console logs just so that I can see properly whether it's defined, whether it's working properly. So in this case, I know that it's from a previous script, right? As payment method 2, but I never included payment method 2 here, so that's why it's undefined. Yeah. But most importantly, it's working fine already, and yep, it's showing up on n8n as well, right? You can see the customer name, customer email, their phone number, and yeah, their payment method, etc. Right, so yeah, after this, we are actually able to already pass it into the creating contact, etc. Right, getting the APIs from Buku themselves, right? You are able to already start, creating the contact, creating invoice. So as I mentioned earlier, we will be creating an exchange rate using the Open Exchange Rate API, right? So just head on to Open Exchange Rates, right? When working with all these invoicing, so say softwares, you will want to ask them what exchange rate API that you'll be using and referring to, so that your rates are the same, right? So firstly, you need to create an account in Open Exchange Rate. So in my case, I've already created. Yeah, it's just, I think you can just log in through the Google account, right? After that, head on to App IDs, right? This is, then you just have to put this into the link later on, right? So just keep that copied, right? So just head on to the documentation and just scroll down. There is this example basic API request, right? We'll always be using the USD as the default currency because we're on a free plan. Yeah. So in the free plan, I think we are able to run, let's see the usage. Yeah, we're able to run 1,000 times per month, right? 1,000 times per month. So you want to head on to create a HTTP request, right? So you want to post the URL that you created, that you saw just now, right? This URL, paste it here, and you want to insert your app ID here. So go back to your account, head to app IDs, copy it, and yeah, paste it here. That's it. You should be able to get all these currency rates in comparison to the USD. So next will be setting up the code node, right? To make sure it compares with MYR, right? Because inside the APIs already, inside these rates already, we already have MYR inside. We already have MYR here, yeah, compared to USD. So in any case, you want to see whether or not, let's say British pounds, if it is available here as well, and it should be, yeah, it's available here as well. So it should cover the currencies because it has quite a lot of currencies. So you just want to head over and yeah, I've already written this code beforehand, right? So what this does is it'll just put in the previous nodes input, right? So all of this will be read through, right? And it'll also go through all of the rates. Then it'll also read through the webhook data because we want to get the currency, right? The currency of the person. So this is just a fallback in case the currency isn't there. We'll be using MYR as a default. So we'll just so firstly we'll just let exchange rate equals to 1. So this is just in case everything else fails, we'll just make sure that the payment passes into Buku, right? So that we want to just standardize it as 1, just in case, right? Yeah, so basically this part right here, it'll tell us how much the currency is to Malaysian Ringgit. So for example, 1 USD to how much Ringgit. Because in Buku, depending on your accounting system, right? Because in Buku, we have a place where we need to identify, right, how much British pounds is equals to how much MYR. And all of this is populated by the API in itself, right? That's why we are using this code node to figure it out for us. So this is the key part of this whole calculation, right? So it will calculate how much the currency, which is British pounds, is to Malaysian Ringgit based on, you'll compare it with USD and then compare it USD with Malaysian Ringgit to find out how much British pounds, how much 1 British pounds is to how much Ringgit. So we can get the actual conversion rate between British pounds and Malaysian Ringgit. And all of this here is just for us to debug to see whether or not it's working properly, etc. So let's just try it. It should work properly. Oh, let's see. Webhook hasn't been executed. Right, let us just check back. Right, yeah, I named it wrongly because I copy pasted, right? Because this is webhook 1. Should be working now, yeah. So just like that, we are able to see we are changing from currency, which is British pounds, to Malaysian Ringgit, and we can get this rate because we will need this rate later on in Buku, right? So firstly, we'll be getting USD to MYR, USD to customer, in this case British pounds. After that, we'll be dividing this with British pounds, where we'll then get how much it is to 1 British pounds. Yep. And this is just the data that will be passing through to the next step, where we will then create the fees and SSD calculation as well as the invoicing, etc., which will be explained next time. Yeah. Right. So in this video, just a quick recap, right? So in this video, we covered writing this script to pass info from Airtable through a tick. We'll just pass through a tick into n8n, where we can see all of the data here. And then we also covered how we can get info from how we can get info from the Open Exchange Rate API, and we can get the exchange rates, the conversion rates, where we can then get it to compare it against our currency, which is in this case Malaysian Ringgit, right? Yep, that's all from me. Thanks for watching.